You're listening to the Zebra Podcast Network. Your school, your voice.
Welcome to Peer. We're New Brunswick High School peer leaders, and this is the podcast where we talk about the experiences that shape us, the challenges that test us, and the moments that make us all leaders. We're exploring the paths we've taken and the lessons we've learned, the wisdom we've gained so far. Join us on this journey of reflection, growth, and leadership. This is Peer, where your story matters. Hey guys, welcome back to another banger. We're here with P2P. I'm glad you guys are tuning in today for this episode. We have something new going on today. I'm your host, Nancy, and I'm here with my fellow peer leader,
Kelsey.
And today we're bringing some new people into the house today. We have our 2025 peer leaders. Introduce yourself.
I'm Ashely.
I'm Jaabez.
Okay, so be honest, guys. When did you guys actually started your peer applications?
Well, I started like 2 days before the deadline.
Oh.
Like when I first got the application, like I was telling myself when I get home, I'm gonna finish it. But then I kept telling myself that, and I got lazy, and I was like, oh my God. And then I finally remembered that it's a deadline for this. So like when I finally got to it, I was stressing because I tried to make it perfect because I didn't want to sound like boring or anything. So it got done. I hope y'all like it though.
Is that why you wrote U with the letter U instead of Y-O-U? That's the one thing.
I was like, I didn't read over it, but like once I read over like the last time, I was like, bro, I made a mistake. I'm so used to texting like that. So I'm like, oh my God. But
It's okay though. Grammar it does matter on your application, but not that much. Like we're not going to be like, oh, like you wrote a bad thing if your substance is good.
Yeah, and just don't do that like if you were to go to like a job interview and stuff.
Yeah,
They'll write you.
I would fire you. Like I wouldn't even think about it.
I'd be like, oh.
no, yeah, like when I was telling my mom to read it, she was just like, did you really put you on that paper? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
And what about you, Ashley?
Same thing for me. I started like 2-3 days before the deadline. And I was like, I did it. And then I brought it to my advisor so she could read over it. And she was like, you didn't put anything to describe yourself or something like you want them to know about yourself. And I was like, no. She was like, here, take this back. You should write something about yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I submitted it like in the morning of like the deadline.
When did you submit yours?
I submitted mine at 2:30 the day it was due last year. And I didn't finish typing it until that period. Like I had my math teacher print everything out for me because I wasn't going to apply. But my friend Saida made me apply and she was like, you have to do it. So I was like, why am I going to apply if like I don't think I'm going to get in? And then after I did my interview, I was like, nah, I'm goated.
So basically, you guys are all frauds. I was top 5, bro. Like
Yeah,
I literally submitted it like top 5. I don't remember which one it was, but I think I was like number 1.
No, I think you're number 2.
Yeah, I think I was number 2.
I was so scared because I was like, oh my God, like, I know like everybody's finished already and like I'm behind. But then like I asked a couple people, I was like, did y'all finish y'all's yet? And they was like, nah, they didn't finish. So I was like, whew, okay, like I got that. Whew.
Like I know some people, I know a person, like he got in too, but he got his application and he finished it the next day. And I was like, what? You finished it already? I'm like, dang, you're so committed.
Try hard.
Like I also feel like they probably like finished it too fast. Like I feel like if you took longer on it, like it would have had like more like
Substance?
Yeah.
Okay. So why'd you guys want to get into peer or just be a peer leader?
Well, like to be honest, I wanted to work on like some skills like that I was lacking in, like talking in front of people or just like working like more like better with my team. Cause like me personally, like I'm like a person like if I don't know you, I won't really like be like I won't really gel with you like that. So like I'm like more distant with new people, but I feel like maybe in peer it can help me like be more comfortable with a person I don't know as if I know like them, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and also like my sister was a peer leader. So
Oh yeah, what year was she?
she was 2020 or 2021. Her name was Amari, but yeah.
You did not mention that in your application.
Yeah.
I've never known.
It's
You
'cause,
never
like,
know. We could have like immediately accepted you because that's what Hugo did.
But like,
yeah, but Hugo's is actually low-key type fire. I read his application.
but like, it's because like I wanted my own name. Like I didn't want to be known just like because like he was a peer,
Mm-hmm.
and like I just want my own name, you know?
So I wanted to join peer to like develop social skills. Because of him, I'm not really talkative like with people I don't know. But I also like wanna, as I'm developing social skills, I want others to help others develop their social skills as well. As like when you go talk to freshmen, like they might like, I know I was really quiet when I had my peer. I want them to develop their social skills so like they're able to go and talk to other people and not be shy about it.
What are you guys gonna do if like your freshmen are quiet though, like how you were? You're gonna have to suffer because that's your karma.
I'm gonna try. I think I'll just try to like, I don't know. I'll try to do like some team bonding, something, just to get them like at least a little comfortable with me. But
Trust me, that does not work.
it doesn't.
No, like there's no like bad group of freshmen. I like my well, by freshmen, I not believe it. I love my freshmen. Like
Sure.
me and Christian do, but we tried so hard, and like I can understand why like some freshmen don't want to participate, but they should participate. So don't take that. But they should participate. So me and Christian tried for like what is it? All 7 times we met with them. Like we would do different activities. We would do stuff. It got to the point where like I had to take their phones.
Damn.
And like I had to make them sit down and do work because we'd play games, we brought them candy, we did all this stuff, and they wouldn't want to like try with us, and we're just like what's the issue? And they just like literally just because they're like awkward and they're like, oh, I don't want to, like I feel uncomfortable.
Nah, yeah, cause like I remember like I was like that type of freshman too when I first came in, cause like coming into a new environment that you're not used to, it's just like I don't want to get into nothing, no problems, but I feel like I'll try to work with them, but like I won't force them to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah, I didn't force my freshmen. Like I remember like there was times like, cause Juba comes in, like you can't just lead a thing and then he's gonna take your word for it. Like, oh, it went amazing. Like he comes in and he watches you, and there be times you and my freshmen we're just sitting there in silence, and I'm like, we can sit here all like I don't care to sit here the 60 minutes in silence because this is not to help me, it's to help you. Like that's what peer is about. It's not. Like, obviously, like, you're going to grow with your co-leaders, but once you're with the freshmen, it's to help them, and it's to help their growth. So when they become a sophomore or junior, they're like, damn, they were telling me the right thing. They were trying to put me on the right path. And sometimes they realize it too late. Like, yesterday, I saw one of my freshmen in the hallway walking around, and he thought he was slick. I was like, where's your class? Where's your pass? Go back to class. He saw me walking up the stairs, and he came right back. And I was like, I basically had to walk him to class. Like, I had to look at him until he went down the stairs and went to class.
Yeah, my freshman, there's this one guy that he's hanging out with the wrong people right now. And, like, he, like, every single time I see him, that man, like, acts like, I don't even know, bro. But like, he just breaks his whole neck to look the opposite way. Like, if I'm not there, I'm like, boy, like, I don't care about you right now. Like, I got bigger issues right now. I tried to help him. Like, there's one time, like, I legit followed that man to class, bro. I look like them security guards, like an escort. Like, nah, not an escort, but, like, like, you know, like I was, like, a tourist or something, bro, that I was taking that poor man to class, and he's quiet too, and like he didn't show up that much either. So
yeah, it's like some of your freshmen won't show up, but at the end of the day, like you shouldn't take any of that to heart because the freshmen who do show up, they obviously like they're in class for a reason at that time in the morning. Like sometimes I see them wandering the halls, and I'm like, I know like you're still like trying to do the right thing, so I give them a lot of props for that, and I don't know, like I wish my freshmen the best in their next years, and I hope some of them apply to peer.
And that they just grow, cause like you guys, it took you guys time. Like you didn't realize it in the moment, like the value of having like older people, like genuinely like want better for you and stuff like that. And then now you realize it, and that's why you guys were motivated to be in peer too, cause you were like, oh, like this was low key like nice to have like and everything. Cause I had my peers, like my freshmen, like during algebra 2, their algebra 1 class. Like, I know they did not want to be doing math at 8 in the morning, so I was blessing them, bro. But even then, they didn't appreciate me. But yeah, it just is what it is. Like, you can't force them. Like, obviously you're gonna try and everything, but like that, sometimes that's what comes with being a leader. Like, sometimes your ideas don't work out, or sometimes people just generally don't want to participate, and you just have to be able to improvise from there, you know? Now that you guys mentioned, like, about you guys being younger, like, your younger version, and obviously not wanting to, like, anything to do with peer, and now now actually trying to get into peer and got into peer, well, why would you recommend to younger students, like, that they should become a peer, or, like, they should get involved or be interested in the program?
I feel like it helped them, like, get out their shell, like be comfortable, like, just talking to new people. I feel like the freshmen, when they come in, they're going to be, like, real shy and like real distant because they like when we're coming in, like they don't know us, you know? So like it's gonna be a while, but what I'll say is like do peer, like I feel like it will keep them on the right track. I feel like they won't fall into the wrong crowd. I feel like when you're in peer, like you hold yourself to a certain standard because like having the title of being a peer leader is like a big deal in my opinion. So I feel like people expect a lot out of you. If the kids are peer leaders, they'll be like more focused on their studies and more focused on just doing the right thing.
Yeah, and it's also like who you're surrounded with and everything. Cause like Ruby had like mentioned before that she wasn't really on track to graduate, and like she didn't really care about school and stuff like that. But like then she obviously got into peer, and like someone took a chance on her, you know. And then she was just like, oh, like now I'm surrounded with people that are planning to go to college, that know what they want to do with their future, that are doing good in school, like. She was just like, damn, like, why can't I do that too? So then she started obviously getting better at school and actually like have an idea of what she wants to do outside of like after high school, which she didn't have that in mind like prior to peer. And it's just who you surround yourself with that like really takes a toll on how you are mentally, physically, emotionally, and everything. And what about you, Ashley?
I feel like incoming freshmen should definitely get involved if it's like it could be a club or a sport. Definitely a sport because like your coaches, they'll hold you to a certain standard that you have to meet. And it's like you get to meet new people in that sport and build bonds and relationships. And it also like it helps you become better and it helps you put yourself more out there. So like in the real world, you won't be shy to put yourself out there.
Joining peer, I feel like being involved before, like from your freshman, sophomore, even junior year, is going to prepare you to like apply to peer. And there's no like requirements. There's no like, oh, you have to be president of student council. You have to do this, that, and the third. You have to be in 20 sports. You got to be captain of every sport. Like, no, like the person you are, there's a leader inside of anyone. It just depends on how you exude it and how you like show it. So everyone's a leader. It just depends what you're leading people to. If you're leading people down the wrong path, then obviously this isn't the program for you. But if you're dedicated to like making a change for yourself and for others, that is what peer's for. And I only like was comfortable enough to join peer because I did softball my sophomore year. And Ashley's right, like sports build bonds. Like I was new to like the district entirely my sophomore year. I didn't know anybody. I literally had no friends. I was a loser. And I joined softball on a whim, like thinking I wasn't gonna get in, like doubting myself. And then when I made the team, I was like, oh, like what do I do now? And then I made friends, like, and I got out of my shell more. I felt more comfortable. And by the beginning of my junior year, like I found the people that were like right for me, and I got out of my shell more. I like joined harder classes, and then when it like I was just lazy when it was time to apply to peer. But then my friend encouraged me, and I was like, oh wait, like why shouldn't I like? I'm goated. Like what? Like what? Like I don't know.
Okay, so without going like into too much detail, because we obviously want the interview process for the following like peer leaders of next year and following years. Without like going into detail of like what it specifically it was, but what were your thoughts heading into the interview? Like the day of, like the day before, like everything.
The day before, I was like, I gotta set a good example. Like, I don't want to look like I don't care. I don't look sluggish or anything. When I came into the interview, I was a little like anxious a little bit because I didn't know what y'all was gonna ask me. But I was just going in there like just gonna be myself. Like, I wasn't gonna try to act like you know how some people try to act like different like in certain things. I was gonna be like I'm just gonna be me.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't going to try to be, like, this all-professional person because, like, that's just not me. Like, I'm just going to be me. So, I went in there honest, and I was just really, like, when I got to Juva, I was like, oh, man, like, I don't know what he's going to ask me. But he asked me something, like, wasn't too bad. I was like, okay, like, I think I could do this. I really liked the interview process. I think it was good, and
I didn't even think about the interview until the morning of, and I was like, I walked into school and I was like, what are they going to ask me? How am I going to respond? And then I think when I got to Mr. Nessie, like he was just staring into my soul. And that made me nervous. And then he was like, do you have Spotify? You should follow the podcast right now. And I was just like, after that, I was just relaxed. And then I got to Juba and it was like, was like, okay. And then some part of the interview, I'd said something, and then Kelsey here, she laughed at me.
It was so funny. It was hilarious.
But other than that, I was just like, I was being myself. Like he said, you can't go into an interview being something that you're not.
And what about you? You didn't even actually. She didn't even go through the interview, bro. She's a fraud peer leader.
Yeah. So my story time. So my story time is I had strep throat the week of. Peer was just a bad time last year, like that whole time period. I had strep throat the week
And
of
she
my
had
interview.
broken her ankle too, right?
What?
That was when we found out.
Oh,
That's the other part of the story. So I had
twice in a year. Crazy.
no. I got strep throat like the same time, but 2 different years, 2024 and 2023. Anyways, I got strep like literally. I got strep again I'm going off track. I got strep again this year around the same time. So I was like, what the hell?
Ooh.
But anyways, I had strep last year and I was missing my interview. So I texted Saida and I was like, oh, like I have strep. Like I have a doctor's note. I can't be in school. Like I'm gonna get everyone sick. So I emailed Juba and I was like, oh, like I have strep throat. Like I'm out of school. Like is this like gonna eliminate me from being a peer leader? Like I really want to. And then he was like, no, like he emailed me back like 5 seconds after and he was like, no, like you can come. He was like, you can come after school and like we'll do your interview there. And I was like, okay, thank you. So when I came back, I didn't have to do the other aspects of the interview process. I only talked to I just did the kind of formal part. I was just like really nervous because I was like to one peer leader, I didn't know them at all. And like I was just like, oh. But then I had my friend do the other part and I was like, oh, like this is just a conversation. And then when I got to Juba, like it didn't even feel like an interview. Like it was like a conversation. Like we were just talking and like we went off topic like so many times. And then after that, like I walked out like knowing like, I don't want to sound like, it's not like cocky, but I was like, I know I got in. Like I felt good. Like I was like, I know I put my all into this and I was like, I got in like, cause I gave it my best. And I know my application was like I know it wasn't like revealing, like very like detailed, but I know like I wrote a good application and like I felt good leaving my interview. So I was like,
Nah, yeah, like when like I wrote my application and like I feel like it was really good. And when I went in my interview and I came right back out, I was like, yeah, I got in this. I'm like, I did it. I was like, yeah.
How about you, Ashley? Did you feel confident in yourself after?
Not really. I was like, oh dang.
It takes a lot.
it's like a process. So like you have an idea of who's in and
Mm-hmm.
who's not. It's not solidified until we find out. Like we basically find out when you guys find out. It's not like like Nancy picked this person's automatically in peer and like we all know. It's like a collaborative process and it's more of a conversation of everything that's happening. And like I could say like, oh, you got rejected, but you can kind of have an idea if you got in or not. So if I had an idea that you were actually gonna like be rejected, I wouldn't have went up and told you like, oh, you're rejected, because then that's just insensitive.
Yeah.
But you'll find out next year. Like you'll see how the process goes, and like for future classes, you'll see the like thing. Because KB, the peer leader last year, she did the same thing to me last year. She'd be like, "That's not very peer leader of you. That's not very peer leader of you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
I remember after like the interview process and all that, like I was just every time I saw David or Funes, I was like, yo, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? And they kept telling me this day and this day, and it never came. So I was just like, when is this day gonna come so I can stop stressing about this? Because I was like, I don't know if I set like the best example. I don't know if like I did something wrong. I don't know if I said the wrong thing. But I'm happy I got in. Like that's just like big. Like
Wait, I actually have a question for you guys. That's not on there. So I know both of you guys are in Avid.
Mhm.
How do you like feel like a college like prep class or like a class that's kind of the environment, like the structure of peer? Because I'm in Avid too. I feel like Avid and peer are kind of very similar.
yeah.
So how do you feel like that structure since your freshman year, your sophomore year has prepared you to go into peer?
Coming into like freshman year and going into Avid, like this mind you, freshman year is my first year at Avid. So I don't know any of these kids in my class. So like I'm just sitting next to like only the 2 people I know. I mean, this is cool, but like I low-key want to get to know like everybody in here. I feel like that my freshman class, like I got so comfortable with them. It made me have like a different outlook on like I didn't know like I'll be able to bond with like people that are like not really like into sports or like into that stuff I'm in. But I feel like made me like want to talk to people more, just like being around people. Peer leadership is like you're with like somebody, so like it's like a group thing basically. And like so is Avid. Like I feel like Avid, like you know how in Avid, like, we break apart, like, it puts us into groups. So I feel like that's, like, that already prepared me for, like, what was coming next. Miss Corton told me, like, freshman year, she wanted me to be an Avid. I mean, she wanted me to be a peer leader because, like, that's really, like, the next step to me. Like, I feel like Avid, and then it's, like, peer leadership, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Avid definitely like helps because in our Avid class, we were in the same Avid class.
Yeah, that was fun.
And it was like we were the best Avid class.
Do you guys have Spirito?
No, we had
We
Court
had
Blake.
Spirito.
Oh.
We're so close, like, our whole class. Like,
So we had Courtney our freshman year, and then Courtney, she would like write numbers, put them in a bucket, and then she'll make us pick one. Like that would force us to like mix up the groups and talk to each other. So that definitely helped us like build bonds and like get to know each other. And then like after a month of freshman year, like we all became like close friends. Like we were all talk to each other. So that definitely helps because going into peer, like you don't know some of the peers. Like I don't know you, Nancy. And then like
Bet. Rejected from peer. I'm taking you out.
She on fraud watch.
so like me not knowing you, and then it also relates to Avid, like it helps you talk to other people without like being nervous or anything. Because freshman me, I would not be sitting in this chair right now talking in this podcast. But it definitely helps.
nah, going to peer, like, I knew some of, like, the peer leaders, like half of y'all, like you or, like, David or Funes. I knew Nancy for, like, a long time. So I was just like, wow, like, now, like, I'm a junior. I'm going into peer now. I'm like, wow, like, this is coming full circle.
No, yeah. Yeah, like, cause I feel like that's what really like, I don't know. It's a different aspect of like what peer is, because you would expect that like only the cool kids get into peer, or only like certain type of people get into peer, but like it's not always like that. Like we got like Katie, like, you know, she's like, not just saying that because she's my co. I'm just saying that because she's my co. But like, you know, like you wouldn't expect her to like be like in peer, because you would expect people like Funes, like people, well-known people. But it's like, it's not even, that's not the point of peer, you know? Like, a lot of like with your class, like it was like, we, like you would think that, oh, because she's quiet, like she's not meant to be a leader and stuff like that. But like then we realized like quietness doesn't take into account like being a leader or not, you know? It's just like Kelsey says, what you do with that title and everything. And sometimes it's not even about like how loud you project your voice, but it's just like the
words that you say matter.
yeah, and like how people like take that, like the influence you have on people. There you go. That's what I was gonna say. But yeah, so basically we're basically done with this episode. And lastly, I just want to congratulate you guys, obviously, for getting into peer. Yeah.
Thank you. I am not a fraud, Kelsey.
Oh, well, now you could just, guys, like, we're passing the crown.
Yeah, we're passing the
Onto
crown on to you guys.
So now
And-
you guys have to, I'm sorry, Nancy.
Yeah,
You
go.
guys have to just, like, maintain that, like, it's, like, contingent. You guys are a leader until you choose not to be.
Mhm.
It's the actions you do. So, like, I don't I'm in peer, and I don't be telling nobody I'm in peer. I don't be like, I'm a peer leader. Let me through. I'm a peer leader. I'm a peer
Yeah.
leader.
Word.
Like, you don't use that as an excuse to be like, oh, I'm a leader. It's stuff that you do. It's just like, oh, I see like no one's taking a charge. Like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to like go. I'm just going to be that. And that's what peer is. And it's not following behind other people. I
Yes,
know
that's so
senior
fun.
year, like everyone's like, oh, I want to come to school late. Like, it don't matter. Like, I'm in all electives. Like, peer's first thing in the morning. You can't be late. And you can't be late to your other classes. Like, there's no reason why you only show up to the date, like early on the day you have peer. You got to show up every day, all the time. Like, leadership is not something that turns off. It's just the way you are. And if you don't act like that, then other people will not respect you the way that you deserve to be respected.
I think we can snap it up for that.
And for anyone who didn't get into peer, that doesn't say anything negative about you
Yeah.
or your leadership qualities. There's only so many kids that we can take. We wish that we can take everybody who's qualified to be a peer leader, but the program is only so big. And don't go around spreading hate or talking about people who got in.
Because like you guys are always gonna get hated on. Like even to this day, like even teachers are gonna be like, "Oh, how is this person in peer? Like that makes no sense. Like this and that." But like just shrug it off, because like at the end of the day, it says a lot about who that person is too. Like you guys have got into peer, but like if you didn't, like it would have been like, okay, like I'm happy for my friends that got into peer. But some people, like that's why you need to be watching your back, yo, because some of your friends be like, I'm so happy for you, and then they be like, oh, like I hate that I didn't get in. She got in, like that's not fair. Like I got a better interview than her. Like she didn't even talk that much, and it's not even about that. Like that says like all you need to know about your friends and stuff like that. But everybody's always gonna have something to say, like regardless of your background, your past and stuff like that. But it's like you shouldn't let that define who you are. Like at the end of the day, you got selected for a reason, and like there's no like if, ands, or but. Like you guys literally got the job done, and that's why we picked you guys, you know? So there's no question about it. And yeah, so I feel like you guys should just let it roll off your back, because it's gonna be like that like for forever and everywhere you go, you know, not just in peer. And yeah, to end this episode, we do want to congratulate you guys, and stay tuned for a bonus episode where we will be announcing the upcoming the peers of 2025. And just stay tuned. I'm happy that you guys tune in, and have a good day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Peer to Peer. We hope our conversation has inspired you to explore your own path and embrace the leader within you. We invite you to share your experiences and join the conversation on our social media platforms. Follow us on Instagram at NBHS Peer Leadership. Don't forget to subscribe to Peer to Peer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Please share Peer to Peer with someone who would also enjoy the show and get value. Peer to Peer is a member of the Zebra Podcast Network. Visit zebrapodcastnetwork.com for more information. This is Peer to Peer, where your story matters.
I would never play those games.